Increasingly, people are choosing to use their vacation time to engage in a project or maybe take on a personal challenge rather than just simply relaxing and being entertained by the television. Author Sheryl Kayne has written a guide to help you learn more about how to do this and the where of how to do this with her new book, the trendy new book of Immersion Travel USA. It's the best and most meaningful volunteering, living, and living excursions you can find. Sheryl, thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
I know this is going to make no sense to people. They're going to listen. Immersion travel. What is that? So in a simple way, how would they understand that?
Oh, I believe it will make sense.
Okay.
So immersion travel is what we're all trying to do, and so many people just didn't know how. You know, how to get it together. But immersion travel is when you are able to connect with the people, place, culture, traditions, and characteristics of each locale that makes it uniquely its own.
Well, can you give me an example of how?
Absolutely. You know, it's so much fun when you just go someplace. Today, people aren't saying, where are you going, as much as they're saying, and what are you doing?
Okay.
You know, and I myself, when I go somewhere, I like to immediately find out what do the locals do. You don't just want to kind of buzz in and look. You want to find out, connect with people. So one time when I arrived in Stehekin, Washington, the first place I stopped was at a community bulletin board, and there was a sign inviting everyone to a wedding.
Inviting the community to a wedding? The
community to a wedding. And I said, can I go?
Yeah.
And they said, of course. Of course you can go. And I went, I met people that then I was able to really connect with, learn the way they did things, really get a taste of where I was.
That's a first. I've never heard of that.
I loved it.
I went on vacation and went to a wedding.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
This summer, actually, I was living in Taos, New Mexico, and I wanted to really connect. I didn't want to just be there and do my own writing and do my own thing, but I wanted to find out where I was. And I called the local Head Start program on the Taos Pueblo, and I volunteered my time, and I did readings from a children's book that I've written to the school. And I also did programs in their elementary school. So there you learn so much more about the community and where you go. And what's so great about immersion travel is when you go out on a trip, I mean, I believe that you return differently when you really extend yourself. And I have stories in there. I mean, there's Chuck and Donna, who they went to the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee.
I've heard of that.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I would do that.
Well, they loved it so much. They went back to New Jersey, they sold their home, and they bought a B&B in Jonesboro.
Really?
And they lived there.
Wow. You know, it sounds like, now that's an interesting story, but your story sounds almost like a meandering vacation. You went somewhere to discover maybe what was there, and yet you can be more intentional in this immersion. You kind of break them down into categories where you can think in advance. I have a vacation coming up in May.
Right.
I want to go somewhere where I can help. You talk about volunteering as one of those categories. How does that work?
Absolutely. The first category is helping. And that's what's so terrific. I mean, there's an organization called Bike and Build. You actually bike from one coast to the other.
No, really?
Yes. Yes.
Bike and build muscles, build a back problem. Well, really?
Bike and build your character as well.
My goodness.
Because I have a story about Lynn in there, and Lynn had just graduated with her undergraduate degree, and her family was saying, why don't you go bike in Europe? And she said, I want to learn all about the United States first. I want to see the U.S. And this you donate $4,000 to low-income housing, and as you are biking across the country, you are stopping and you're working on low-income housing projects.
That's a great idea.
It's just
And how long
wonderful.
does it take you? Is it like a 3-month ride, or?
It's the summer.
It's the summer.
It's a summer commitment. And actually, her very first story was in Norfolk, Virginia, where they were doing their first project to work on a home, and suddenly she heard someone laughing and laughing, and she realized that it was the owner of the house because she had just hammered in her first nail into the siding. And she was so ecstatic to be surrounded there by young people working on her home. It was just such a thrill.
Another category you have is learning. Education, self-help, alternative lifestyles, things like that. What can you learn on a vacation?
Can you imagine taking your family or your neighbors to the Antique Boat Museum in New York and in 5 days building your own skiff
No.
that you can walk away with and you can have and you can use? It's just so.
Wow.
It's just
You go on
blows me
vacation
away.
and you learn a skill, or
You learn a
acquire,
skill.
Yeah, or you try something that you hadn't done before to see if you enjoy it.
That's
It's
right.
a way to educate yourself.
That's
okay.
right.
How about working? How does a person go to explore? We almost alluded to this a second ago. Long-term or short-term job opportunities.
Well, they are all over the place. There are all kinds of things that you can do, and there are very short-term or longer-term. I personally had set my goal that I really wanted to live and work in Alaska. That was my goal. I wanted to drive from Connecticut to Denali National Park. And I really, really, really wanted to be a park ranger. You can get summer hire park ranger jobs. And I didn't know that before. I didn't get any interviews my first time out, but I was fortunate enough to learn that in a major tourism area such as Denali National Park, there are loads and loads of job openings. So I was hired by a hotel. And the hotel wanted someone who could research, write, and deliver living history vignettes.
My
so I
goodness.
got to dress up all day, and I was
Yeah.
talking about women in the gold rush and conservation and leading people out on nature trails. It was
Your
just
cup of tea.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Oh my!
You can also, what I really, really,
Okay.
really want to do is to be a whale watch naturalist with these safari tours in Friday Harbor, Washington State.
Is
That'd
it
be
like the
great.
boats that go out after the Japanese fishermen, that kind of thing?
No, it's the boats that take the tourists out to
Oh,
find the whales.
okay.
Yes.
Well, look at that. There's a picture of a.
Oh, that's terrific.
So
isn't
hey,
that
it's
great?
already tempting you.
Oh, it is.
Washington, here you
That's
come.
where I want to go.
Okay, caring, immersion travel for animal lovers, caretakers, and activists. What sort of caring expeditions can a person take?
One of my favorite is very close to here in Atlanta. I'll be talking about this tonight when I am doing a book reading at Acapella Books here in Atlanta. And you can also see pictures of it on my website, which is
Okay.
www.immersiontraveler.com. It's very close to Atlanta. I loved swimming with the manatees in Homosassa, Florida. Just magnificent. And I have a story about Annette, who is from Australia, and when she read about the possibility of swimming with the manatee, she was so thrilled because it's not something she can do where she lives. And it's just magical. And it's also near Tarpon Springs, which is a wonderful place to visit, the sponge capital of the world.
The sponge capital of the world.
Yes, it is,
Who would've
right
thought?
here in Florida.
And with caring, you can you mentioned earlier about building and donating your time like that, but caring, going in and just taking your vacation time to go someplace and volunteer at a nursing home or finding some other organization that needs help for a period of time.
Right. One of
Yeah.
the most fantastic trips is offered by Amajadi, and that you can go visit on the Navajo Nation in Tuba City, Arizona. And it's so exciting. You contribute your time. You're working with students who are learning and working there, and you are learning all about a new and different culture, which is part of our history as well.
You don't come back from vacation tired only, but you come back a
Energized.
better person. All right, the last one is playing, enjoying the great outdoors.
Isn't that
Yeah.
wonderful? And with that, you can contribute your time to help on trails, to rebuild our national parks, and to do all kinds of wonderful things and really care about conservation and to play out of the box.
Well, and the way you've set your book up, and it really is a resource. It reminds me of Paula Begon's Don't Go to the Cosmetic Counter Without Me, as far as really good research. You take each one of these categories and you give them examples, in all of the United States, ways to change the way they vacation.
That's right. Get involved. Don't just visit, get involved.
What got you started in this?
You know, I grew up the daughter of a traveling salesman, and I absolutely loved when I got to go with Daddy out to visit his clients. And he knew everyone, he knew where to go. He didn't just go to one place. And I said, that's the way to find out where you go. I just couldn't stand not getting to talk to people and knowing how they do things and knowing who they are.
Yeah.
And immersion travel gives you the tools you need to connect.
It does. And if you ever wanted to know how to start, if your interest is piqued at all, how do I start immersing myself in a vacation setting? This is the book for you, Immersion Travel USA, the best and most meaningful volunteering, living, and learning excursions. And I bet you would come back from vacation feeling good about life at one of these.
That's right. Absolutely.
Sheryl Kayne, the author, and your website once again is?
Immersiontraveler.com.
Thank you so much for coming in. Very enjoyable talking with you.